Hey guys, let's discuss a little bit today about CKC versus OKC. CKC as in closed kinetic chain exercise and OKC as an open kinetic chain exercise. Now I know this has been bothering a lot of you guys. I mean, even when I was studying, I was getting really confused between the two. I mean, overall it made sense, but when I was really trying to look into the specific exercises, it was really bothering me. I was not able to tell whether this is closed kinetic chain or whether this is open kinetic chain. Some exercises were very close to each other, so it was really difficult to tell which exercise is open kinetic chain and which exercise is closed kinetic chain. I get it. I know how you're going through right now, what you're feeling right now. Alright. So instead of telling you the technical aspects of it and what the definition is and all these things, let me give you another perspective of mine which helped me remember this throughout, not just for the exam but also later on. Because I'm pretty sure guys, you have already come across a lot of definitions, you have already seen all those things, right? So this video is not going to tell you anything new or anything different apart from that. So if I tell you the same definition and same things, what it means, it is not going to do much. So let me first give you a shortcut. Okay, let me just try to explain in a different way which worked for me, my understanding. Let me try that first, and then I will tell you the actual technicalities, just as an obligatory part. Okay. So okay, this is how you try to remember this. Any exercise which is kind of isolation exercise, like bicep curls, tricep extensions, shoulder press, any kind of isolation exercise that you do, leg extensions, that is huge, right? You see a lot of leg extension machines in pretty much every gym that you visit, right? There will be a leg extension machine. They keep their legs fixed to something and they are doing knee extension basically for their quads, rectus femoris if you will. Yeah, so that is a classic example of an open kinetic chain exercise. So any kind of isolation type exercises, you can kind of imagine that these exercises fall into that OKC category, open kinetic chain. Any kind of multiple joint exercises like your squats, your deadlifts, even your pull-ups, right? People get confused with pull-ups whether it is open kinetic chain or closed kinetic chain, but it is a closed kinetic chain. You know why? Because your hands are fixed on that thing, right? Even though your legs are free to move, you're not really doing anything with those legs, right? It is still a multi-joint exercise. Pull-ups, right? Pull-ups, push-ups, these are like multi-joint exercise. Now you may ask me, okay, so you are saying OKC is free exercise, like what do you call it, isolation exercises, and you're saying that CKC, that is closed kinetic chain exercises, are all multi-joint exercise. In that case, tell me one thing, Sanjay, what about bench press? Bench press is also a multi-joint exercise, right? Then it should also be a CKC. But why is it CKC? Why do people say that bench press is an OKC, open kinetic chain? Okay, I hear you. Okay, I also had these kind of doubts. Just when I thought that I really understand what is the difference between CKC and OKC, someone would come and tell me about a one particular exercise and ask me, okay, this is CKC or OKC. I'd be like, oh my god, yeah, that's true. What's really happening? What do I do? Right? So okay, so there are some exceptions over here. So let me explain a little. So when you're doing a bench press, your hands are free to move, right? And even though it is a multi-joint exercise, your legs are kind of fixed there on the floor. You're not doing much with your legs, right? It is kind of free. So your hands are moving freely, right? So anytime your hands are able to move freely and you have a weight that you're able to move freely, whether it is leg extension, shoulder press, bench press, you can conclude that it is an OKC, open kinetic chain. Open, right? It's open. I am pushing with my hands. Everything is open. There is no resistance over it. Nothing is kind of stopping me from moving that weight, right? So if you want to think of it like that, push-ups would be a CKC, bench press would be an OKC, because your hands are free to move, whereas in push-ups you are restricted on the floor, right? Even though you are moving your hand, you're not really moving your hands, right? It's your body that you're moving. Your hands are fixed on the floor, and so are your legs, right? So if you want to really look at the contrast between these two, think about shoulder press. Shoulder press is kind of open kinetic chain, where everything is open. However, according to my understanding, I could be wrong also, according to my understanding, shoulder press is open kinetic chain, whereas handstand push-ups are closed kinetic chain. You may say the legs are free to move, right? But not really. The legs are against that wall, right? If you are doing a wall handstand push-up. So, and even if you are doing a freestanding handstand push-up, still your extremities are not free to move. Basically, that leg is just standing like that, right? It is not pressing or moving or doing anything, special over there. It's just trying to balance over there. That's it. Your hands are fixed on the floor and you are doing those handstand push-ups, right? So a handstand push-up would be a CKC, whereas a regular shoulder push-up, a regular shoulder press would be an OKC. Similarly, a push-up would be a CKC, closed kinetic chain, whereas a bench press would be an open kinetic chain. Okay, that's the reason that you say that handstand push-ups are much harder than regular shoulder press, because although they mimic pretty much the same thing. Similarly, a lot of people can actually do a bench press using dumbbells or light weights, right? But there are people who can do bench press with dumbbells, whether it is light or moderate, but they cannot do a single push-up. So do you see how CKCs are more complicated and more multi-joint related exercise, whereas your OKC, that is your open kinetic chain exercises, are more of a something that is giving you more freedom, something that is helping you isolate, right? So this is the something that I used for myself to understand my concept and be able to answer the questions properly in the exam if they ask these kind of questions, right? So this is how I understood it. If it's OKC, it is pretty much your isolation exercises like bicep curls, tricep extensions, leg extensions, which is basically your knee extension, which is technically it is knee extension, but the layman terms of saying it is leg extension, right? Leg extension, bicep curls, tricep extensions, all these things, even your shoulder press up, right? Shoulder press, your bench press, all of these come under OKC, that is open kinetic chain exercise. And in closed kinetic chain exercise, you have the big exercises, the multi-joint exercises, apart from bench press. I know bench press will keep coming inside, poking you. Forget about the bench press. Other than that, think about the other exercises like squats, body weight squats or weighted squats, doesn't matter. Your feet is fixed on the floor, right? And you're just going down and coming up. This part is also almost fixed, right? You're not really moving this, you're just holding it over here. So squats, closed kinetic chain. Deadlift, of course, the king, right? Deadlift is a closed kinetic chain exercise. What else? Push-ups, closed kinetic chain exercise. What else? What else comes under? Lunges. So basically, if you see all your ADL, your activities of daily living, you're always using closed kinetic chain exercise for doing all your activities of daily living. That's the reason CKC is considered more functional. CK is something that will have a direct carryover in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day activities. That's the reason CKC is always given more preference and it is considered superior over OKC. Now, having said that, you cannot really bash OKC altogether and say no, OKC is bad. No, OKC is also good. There are some scenarios where OKC will be excellent. Like let's say you're trying to recover from an injury, you're going through rehabilitation, right? Just one part of your knee or one part of your leg is a little weak. So you can use a light weight and you can do some leg extensions in that particular case, right? Let's say you are having muscle imbalance. Your right side is stronger than your left side. So you can do a OKC exercise like shoulder press just for your left hand, right? You can do more numbers on these. So OKC also has its place in the fitness industry. You cannot just bash them all together. They are also good. We all love bicep curls and tricep extensions and we know how good that is, right? How that can make your biceps look really good. So yeah, OKC has its place. Okay, they are also good. But CKC is considered more superior because it's more functional and it involves multiple joints. And that's the reason we usually prefer to do more of CKC. But of course, there is a balance, right? It depends on the client, depends on the person, where he is at in his fitness level. You cannot ask a beginner to do push-up but you can definitely ask that beginner to do a dumbbell bench press, right? Maybe a light dumbbells, you can do that, right? So yeah, that's pretty much about CKC and OKC. So now let's come to the basic definition, which you must have already read in your book or somewhere on Google or something, right? So in CKC, what happens? The distal part of your body. So these are my distal part, right? My hands, my legs, these are the distal part of my body. The distal part of my body. In case of CKC, they are fixed. They are fixed on the floor. Okay, pull-ups, hands are fixed up and down, right? Push-ups, hands and legs both are fixed, just the body is moving up and down, right? Squats, deadlifts, everything is fixed, your legs are fixed on the floor, right? So these are CKC, where the distal ends of your body is fixed. And in OKC, the distal ends of your body, your hands or your legs in case of leg extensions, your hands in case of shoulder press, it is free to move. Even though you have a weight, you're not fixed here, you're free to move your hands, you're free to move your legs in leg extension. Getting it? So this, my friend, is the difference between CKC, that is closed kinetic chain exercises, and OKC, open kinetic chain exercises. Cool? Any questions? Feel free to comment below, or I will also put a link of my Instagram channel. You can ask me some questions or doubts over there also. Alright? Bye guys. All the best. All the best.